Hello everyone, welcome back to the 6th part of our project. I'm gonna continue to show you the modifiers, and for that we need another object, and this is gonna be a candle. Okay, the next modifier I'm gonna show you is called the subdivision surface modifier. You would sometimes encounter the term subd, like subd modeling. You can see our original shape was just a loop of faces, like I took a cube and I removed the top and the bottom faces, and so now I am in edit mode. So what is good with this tool is that it shows the shape after the modifier, and if we switch to edit mode we can still work with the simpler shape that we had at the beginning. You can see what it has done with the viewport's subdivision level to 1. It has divided each faces by 1, like that. You can see it's like there is a loop cut on each of those faces. If I am to duplicate this object here, remove the subdivision surface modifier, if I were to try to simulate what it does, as if I had taken the loop cut tool, did a cut to all of these 4 faces like that, then taken the 4 corners, scale it down a bit, but not on the z-axis, and then having taken all the shape and scale it down as well. Okay, it's almost similar to this operation. So what it does, it's taking the shape, the existing shape, subdivide it by the number of levels we have chosen here, and then smooth the entire surface, trying to interpolate, once you have one new edge here, what the face will be like if you round it up. Okay, if I switch now to 2 level, you see it has divided the previous faces again by 1. Before there was 1 face. If I mark it here, okay, now we have 2 faces. Now I'm gonna show it on a complete cube. See that a subdivision surface modifier on a cube will make it look more and more like a sphere, but because it is a cube, you will see the topology is a bit different. If I increase the subdivision level, okay, look at how the topology is compared to this UV sphere. You can add it to a sphere, okay, but because the surface of the sphere being already round, it will just smoothen it, okay. The more definition on the faces, the more smooth it appears, and you can see that if I'm close enough, I can still see the individual faces. I have also, like last time, added a cylinder so that you can see what it does, and on the cylinder you have something really strange happening. There are a lot of things that are stretched out here. Why? This is because this face is an n-gon. So what the subdivision surface tool tries to do is, okay, I have a face here, but it is an n-gon, so I can't see any loop, so I'm gonna try to cut somewhere like here and here and here and here. And all of this, because it's then trying to round it up, does what we have here, meaning that we now have a topology that looks like this. Okay, which is not good. What you can do, if you want to help the modifier, is to create a series of loops so that it knows where to cut and where to interpolate. I can inset my faces in, so that he knows that in this loop he can cut, again depending on the viewport level, adding a few more, meaning that the problems that we saw before with the n-gon are gonna be contained here, because all of this is flat, it's not gonna interpolate a round shape, and so we can't see on the flat surface the errors we would see here. For example, if I am to apply this modifier and look at the geometry, you can see it's correct here, but still strange here with the end gun. Okay, so now we are gonna use it to model our candle. This process is gonna be fairly simple. What I'm gonna do is start with a cube, and then I'm gonna give it the shape of my candle. Something like that. Now what we can do is subdivide our object, again as we saw with the cylinder, to give the modifier some help, and also to avoid having flat faces as big as that. The best topology to have is something that is almost uniform, meaning all the faces will have the same size. What I can do first is selecting all of it, right-clicking, and select subdivide. This will already subdivide my object. You can see I can select the number of cuts. It has subdivided each faces by this number of cuts. Okay, so I'm gonna choose 2. I'm gonna add a loop cut here and add as many cuts as needed so that the faces, they look to me as if they are almost the same size. Here as well. Okay, and here as well. Now I'm gonna add my subdivision surface modifier and see, it's not great for the moment, but I'm gonna increase the number of subdivisions for the viewports. Make sure that if you want the same result in your render, you will have to have the render matching at least the viewport level or going above. This option, optimal display, means that we see the original cuts, but we don't see the results of the subdivisions. If I uncheck that, you need to switch to wireframe mode to actually see it and look at how much polygon you have on this object. If I checked optimal display, then I don't see it anymore. Okay, now let's modify a bit of this geometry so that it is looking more like our candle. And now what we can do is selecting faces here all around like that as random. You don't have to follow this visual, it's just as a helper. Okay, and we saw the extrude tool last time and the tool in general. You might have noticed that in the bottom right corner of some tools you have a small arrow. That means if you hold on with your left mouse button, it will display a few other options with this tool. What I want to do now is choosing the extrude along normals, because if I'm extruding simply like that, I have a lot of faces and the extrusion doesn't know where to go. Okay, and all are going in the same direction, which is not really great. Extruding along normals will mean that each face will extrude along the normal is where the face is directed. This will go like that, this will go like that, this will go like that, and so on. So I'm gonna use this option here, extrude along normal, and you see, I'm gonna go out just like that. And now we've got something looking almost like a candle. What do you think? I can shade it smooth. Okay, and now because it's just a bit too squarish, what I can do is actually going there and then modifying a few edges. Now we've got our candle. It's done. For real. Okay, so what we've seen so far is the array modifier, the bevel, the boolean modifier, the mirror modifier. We haven't seen the solidify and the screw modifier, but we've seen the subdivision surface modifier. Okay, to demonstrate now the latest modifiers, which are not very complex, I'm gonna use this object, a chandelier, because candles on their own, they are great, but it's much better on this. Okay, let's do the setup. I'm gonna skip that. For this object, I only have perspective view, the front view, and the top view, because the side view is almost similar to the front view. And to demonstrate how do you use the solidify modifier and the screw modifier, I'm only gonna use this part here. Okay? So let's start with the plane, and what I want to use is, as we did for the cauldron, just an outline of the object. What I can do here is, because we've seen it before, I have vertices. If I extrude them in one direction, like a normal extrude, but I'm gonna use it to do it on the y-axis, so I'm gonna use the shortcut E and then Y. So what I want to do now is create a thickness on this object, and solidify modifier helps doing that. If I add it to my object, now you can see it has added thickness to my object. Okay? If I switch to this view, now I can change the thickness settings so that it fits what I want. An option that is always often used is this option, even thickness, so that the thickness is even throughout the object. And for the screw modifier, it is similar to the spin tool, but as it is a modifier, we can change it afterwards. I'm gonna again do the outline of this and add a screw modifier. This has used the profile I have here and then turn it around at a 360 angle here around its original place. Okay, what I need to do now is maybe move the shape closer to its center, okay, so that it really has the shape I want. You also got a merge option here for the middle that I'm gonna use and see how it changing here. We got a little hole, but now it's merged, and start working on the rest of our chandelier. What I need to do is connect these vertices together. What I can do is select them both and then go to the vertex menu and choose connect vertex path. This will create a connection between two vertices, and because there is a face between them, it will create an edge. Okay? It doesn't work if the two vertices are like separate like that and there is no face between them. So it's showing up an error, could not connect vertices. If you want to connect two vertices that are like that separate, you need to go to the vertex menu and choose new edge face from vertices. And this, because there are only two vertices, will create an edge. I'm gonna add the array modifier. What I need is 6 objects, of course, 6, and I don't want to use the relative offset, but an object offset. This object is the empty here, and at the moment, because both center are the same place, the 6 copies are here, okay? But now what I can do is do a rotation of this object on the z-axis and see all the objects are duplicated around our chandelier. And now we've got two objects here. What I'm gonna do now to model them is adding a cylinder. Okay, that will be roughly the shape of the object I want to do, like that. Another feature of the bevel modifier that we haven't seen so far is that, okay, it's doing a bevel here. I'm gonna apply the scale to make sure there is no problem, and there is. Now you have like a normal bevel. It has duplicated the edges and it's okay. But if you look closely, maybe on this side, the edges here have like a round custom shape. And that's great, because what we can do with the bevel modifier is choosing a type of profile that is a custom profile, and then we can draw our own profile, meaning that this will look like this profile. At the moment, we are wondering why it doesn't work. This is because we only have one segment, so it goes from here to here, the bottom here, but it doesn't do all the shapes between, because with one segment you can't. If I now add more segments, you can see now it's looking like what we have here. And to see it better, we need to change the amount of it, like that. Now we've got our profile on both segments, and maybe we can add even more segments, like this. Yes, that's the beauty of the bevel modifier. With this we can do like molds for, I know, like ceilings or even walls. Okay, custom one with these shapes. What I'm gonna do now is shade it smooth, because I like it like this, of course. And we're gonna do the other one the same way. And close the shape by using what you've seen before. Apply the modifier in object mode, and then vertex, new edge or face from vertex, and this has created a face. And now I think our chandelier is completed. Not really, because what a chandelier needs is a candle. Wow, that looks great. Okay, here is our chandelier. Today's lesson is finished. I hope it wasn't too complex and I didn't give you too much information. Congratulations to all of those who have followed, and I'm sure you're also gonna make your own objects, and I hope to see them. Let me link to the object or your portfolio in the description. I'd like to see them, and I'll see you in the next lesson. Have a good time. Bye.